easier, especially long flights.
Yeah. And I heard streaming actually want to tell me something.
Oh.
Anyway, this is our first presentation of 2019, and we're pleased to have Ifan here, who I believe is our youngest presenter ever. And Ifan has a keen interest in railways in general and signalling in particular, and he's decided to make a career of it, what started off as a hobby. And he's been interested in train operations since young, and he spent his growing up years learning the engineering and operational nature of our railway. He's very observant. He's made a complete track schematic of the SMRT railway based on purely on observations riding along on the trains, and they're quite accurate, and I've had a look at them. And since the age of 17, Ifan has done 3 internships with the SMRT to gain first-hand experience in maintenance, operations and engineering and design, and he's doing an internship at the moment. He's getting involved in timetabling. I had the pleasure of working with Ifan. He came along for a few nights when we were doing the depot interface work at Ulu Pandan a year or so ago, and that was an introduction to Ifan for very basic signalling, very basic interlocking that we have in the depots. It was relay interlocking, but if you learn a little about relay interlocking, then you do learn a little about some of the most basic fundamental principles of signalling. So it's a worthwhile experience. It's in this stage of computer-based systems, it's still worthwhile to learn a little bit about those old-fashioned and simple systems. So Ifan's presentation is all about interactive signalling, and Ifan created it in 2016 on Microsoft PowerPoint. And I won't say too much more about it because Ifan will tell you all about it now. So put your hands together, please.
Okay, so a very good evening to everyone. Thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate that you took the time off. So I will start now. So as with my title slide that you see tonight, I wish to touch on this topic about interactivity. So here is why. Yeah, I can take this out, right? Okay, hold on. Okay, better. So as we all know, there has been a prevalent need in the past 6 to 7 years that our railway expertise must grow. So all these newspaper articles here. We need more people inside this industry to add value across all the levels, from the executionary to the supervisory, to management, to designer, or even to the consultant level. But I have one big question despite all this. Are we vibrant enough to fulfill this need adequately? So are we doing enough to make new joiners feel connected and inspired in their daily work? And that they slowly stop viewing their appointment as it's just a job and become empowered to inspire others as well. So, but nevertheless, right, I can see and feel from my experiences and observations so far that we are trying in this degree, because I can see there are people pushing for this change and this direction. So here is it. Let me transfer. So everyone, welcome to my interactive application that I want to show tonight. This is the C151A animated cab speedometer, the one and only Westinghouse in-cab signaling interactive demonstration. So I designed this a few years back. So it's with all the, it's meant to be, I envision it that when someone opens this file, it's like self-help self-interactive. So it spots all the navigation arrows like this. So this is just a brief welcome to the program kind of slide, just to explain the aim for this application. So this is it's really meant, right, as a bite-sized preview to be a train captain and to drive a train. So the reason why I made this is to really, I want that realism. That time when this idea popped through my mind, the only thing I wanted to do is I wanted to bring one part of the MRT, right, back into my own home. That was just what I wanted to do. So it looked difficult, but I just pushed for it. I just went to try. I didn't know coding at that time, so I just tried with PowerPoint. You can choose.
So basically, how to try?
This is the menu, right? You can go and choose.
First, I will choose this.
Okay. Next. So like for every of the scenario, right, there will be an outline. So like the person using the... So for every scenario that I design, right, yeah, there will be an outline like that. So it's to just give a background background story, just to orientate the user, the player. So like in this example, this is to demonstrate a normal interstation run. So the journey, it starts at the City Hall MRT, the northbound platform with the doors open. So I list out all the steps here. As the train captain, as in like the user, later you will understand. You must close the doors, get the code, and start the train. But all these steps here is really also at the same time explaining how the Westinghouse signaling works. Yeah, I do admit that the system is no longer in use, but as of that time in 2016, this was what I was designing around. Now, you can continue.
I will start the scenario.
So now you are the train driver. What should you do first?
Doors open.
Yeah, the doors are open now, right? So so you follow all the indications. What's the first thing that you do?
Door closed.
No. Before you close the door.
Announcement.
Doors are closing.
Correct.
F on light.
You want to guess?
Okay, yeah.
It's northbound. Okay, so now that you receive your code, what do you do?
ATC start.
So this is precisely my application. So like in reality, right, as of this point, you actually don't need to do anything because the train is driving on its own. So it is meant to emulate the signaling behavior on the north, south, east, west line, Westinghouse. So the reason why I chose, and you can hear the sound.
Change at this station for the Circle Line or North East Line.
So, we've got the doors open, yeah. Oh, yes,
That's now. Alright. Have fun.
So, what do we do first? Close the doors, is it? Oh, the announcement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Doors are closing.
Yeah, you can close the door. Echo 0, train 141, please close your train door over.
Oh, this one, yeah, okay.
Wrong one.
Oh, this one here, is it?
And it's on the right hand side.
Oh, right,
yes.
okay.
And so you watch the indicator ports. So it also teaches the user on the train captains the indicator dashboard. What does the PSD indicator mean, the DIR indicator mean?
Alright.
You start your train.
ATC start. Yeah.
ATC start. It's all about the nuances.
Next station, Lakeside.
Okay, so if you notice the code only goes to 61 because it's a crossover. Martin, this is the end result of your code selection circuitry.
Yeah. Well, good job, simple.
There's a code. Just look carefully, yeah? So now there's a speed restriction. This is the behavior that will be exhibited. This is the 6239. So the train slows down. So this is the speed restricted section. Naturally. In EEE, NTU. At the same time, I'm still considering whether I should clock all the non-executive roles on the ground, because I want to walk the ground, before moving on to being an actual engineer. Because a part of me feels that I want to take a different track, given my passion. For now, I don't mind biting the bullet for shift work. And also given that I'm still young, so I'm physically able to do all this. I don't know whether when I'm older, I may not have the capacity to. So yeah, maybe by the time I graduate, I can be involved in the Thomson Line conversion project at Tanah Merah to transfer all the line over. But we'll see. So that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for coming. Any questions?
Okay, if I'll start a quick question off. Do you think there's a tendency in the railway industry with all this CBTC to go for what you might call a one-size-fits-all solution? You know, and it seems like in a lot of railways, 90-second headway is the holy grail. Do you think that is always necessary? And there might be a case for having like a toned-down CBTC system?
To me, in my opinion, right, I think we're just pushing the limits for extremity. So although there may never be a time where you can get the 90-second headway, I think what LTA I think what LTA wants to feel today, right, is that they want to have the assurance that now whatever system they go and design, all the signaling is capable for performing so close the headway, even though we may not get there. But I think you just want the assurance. I would say it's just being ready and accountable. So when the start, because you won't know when travel demand might increase for that line, and that suddenly, wow, so much demand. But at least if your signaling designed for that 90-second headway, you have it at your disposal. You can just push the boundaries.
Yeah, what I was thinking was, you think there's a market for, say, I don't know, still CBTC, but they have maybe going for not a very demanding headway, and then it may or may not involve some cost savings. Perhaps the cost savings wouldn't be very significant, it wouldn't be worth doing, but if you get a line, you know, where the service intervals, 3 or 4 minutes for most of the day. It seems to me that 90-second headway is a bit of an overkill, you know. So I was wondering if you think there could be a market for that. If there is not one already, then some manufacturers may already be doing that.
I would say, in my opinion, also, then the supplier, I would say the supplier will entice you back as the regulator. Why would you want us to design the system to be less throughput as what we can give you? Why don't we just give you the best? Just pay for it.
Well, yeah,
they'll try and deter you away.
They'll be very happy for people to pay the money. Yeah. Okay, anyway, that's just a thought. Any other questions?
That's okay. It just made me feel bad because I was running a course today on basic signaling, and I realised your code description slides are much better than mine. So, and actually, one thing you've done on there that I think is really useful is that you've actually put the speed. I mean, we tend as signal engineers just to show the graph of what the train speed does, but actually what you've done is added the speedo actually showing the display that the train operator sees. And actually that does make it a lot easier to interpret. Yeah. So I think adding what the speedo shows to the train operator is a really useful concept. And I think that's an excellent description that you've put together. Very, very impressed with that slide. So well done.
Thank you, Robert. Actually, right, I would say all these ideas for the clarity in design, it actually came from my personal encounter. Because back then in JC when I designed this, I was also attending H2 physics tuition, math tuition also, at the Physics Maths Cafe. So I wonder if how many of you heard about it? Do your children in JC, do they go there? The Physics Maths Cafe. Because I was a student in this PMC, and the way the head, and the way the tuition center designed their notes is precisely what I picked up. Besides brushing up my academics for A-levels, I was also quite wowed by how they can make something so difficult appear so simple. In fact, that's their motto. That is the aim of the tuition center. The head of academic, Mr. Dave Sim. So the way they...
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll all agree that was a quite extraordinary presentation by Ifan. His putting together a presentation like that, I think, is quite extraordinary. Even more so due to the fact that most of this was produced even before he was in the signalling industry, and he was still a student at Polytechnic or whatever it was in sixth form.
Junior college.
GC, junior college, yeah, sorry. I'm still not used to the Singapore education system. But anyway, I thought it was quite extraordinary, and if that's what you can do before you start working in the industry, then I'm sure you're going to go on to much greater things once you actually become a fully fledged engineer. So I'm sure you've got a very good future ahead of yourself. So anyway, congratulations. Come down here and we've got a little plaque for you. So, congratulations. Space time tomorrow. Okay, anyway, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you will, Ifan can put up the feedback slide, perhaps. And if those of you, you can either do the feedback now. If you don't want to do the feedback now, you can pick up a paper copy of it. When you leave, there's some paper copies on the desk outside. And the feedback is quite useful to us because it can give us some guidance on what future topics we might look out for future presenters. And if any one of you do want to do a presentation in the future, then let us know. Okay, thank you very much, and see you at the next presentation, which at the present time we may be having a presentation at Bishan Depot in July, possibly, but if not, we'll be having a presentation in August, which